think Keisha's little boyfriend got her sex trafficking. Growing up, I always wanted my own talk show, so thank God for YouTube. And if you're Black, I'm rooting for you too. I'm just about to get straight into the video because today we're talking about The Chi Season 3, Episode 2. And what can I say? Pretty much there was no action. There was no further character development. I mean, we learned some things about some characters, but we didn't learn a lot. But we do know Keisha is missing and Kevin is on a quest to find Keisha. So pretty much that's what we're going to talk about today. If you want to, join the family, go ahead and subscribe to get more videos like this. Okay, so we're going to get into the video. It wasn't absolutely boring. I did watch it 3 times to make sure I didn't miss anything, and one of those times I fell asleep on it. So it wasn't boring, but it wasn't like action-packed. There were a lot of moments in this episode that I think they drug along just to make it 57 minutes long. They could have gave some of those minutes to Insecure over on HBO. But that's a different story for a different day. So I'm just going to go ahead and start my character analysis like I did last week. And that is how we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road. So the first character I have, of course, is my little boy. I love this little boy, Kevin, Alex Hibbert. So he is looking for Keisha. There is a scene where we see Keisha. She says, "Oh my God, you're always getting me in trouble." And basically he is in a struggle to honor Keisha, but also honor his mom while they're trying to search for Keisha. So basically it's like he wants to tell so he's able to help, but he also, in the back of his mind, he doesn't know if Keisha is really missing or if she wanted to go missing. So he doesn't really know what information to give, what information to withhold. And he's getting lashed, I don't know the correct way to say this. His mom is lashing out on him. So, yeah, it's a struggle for Kevin this episode because he's like stuck in the middle between being a help and hindering Keisha with doing all of her little things that she does. Next, we see Emmett. He's in the rhythm with his baby mom still. There isn't like a lot of dynamics between them, but she is still struggling with having him be the father figure that she would want for her child, even though he is in the house. But he is trying to take care of, getting the finances flowing. He is always coming up with a business venture, and he even alludes to that when he's speaking to Domonique or Lala, who is introduced on this episode. And pretty much he's saying like a lot of his business ventures fail, but he's trying. So we are seeing Emmett evolve. Love it, love it, love it. I think that was all I wanted to say about Emmett. He's coming into his own businessman, trying to still learn how to be this father figure. And I also forgot to mention, this episode is jam-packed with a lot of comedic relief. So we do see a lot of that, of course, coming from Emmett. Next, we have Kevin's mom and Dre. So pretty much Kevin's mom is the damsel in distress this entire episode, and Dre is like the savior. And I actually have liked watching Dre in this episode the 3 times I watched it because Dre can act. When she was in that alleyway, oh yeah, she had me convinced. Like, she is a great actress. So I'm gonna love to see her in this season, because I was a little worried about, how she was gonna fit in, especially with the wedding starting off the season, and that little dialogue they gave her was kind of corny. But you know what? She redeemed herself for me. So yeah, I actually have loved watching Dre, and I hope to see more from her in this season. Well, I did brush by this fact, but yeah, Lala was introduced on this episode, so we get to see the role that she's going to fulfill in the season, and she's going to be Emmett's cook. So she may be the reason that this business venture does not fail for Emmett. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens there. And then we're gonna get into Jake. So Jake is a veteran character, has been here the entire duration of the series. So Jake, we're seeing he actually attends the school with Kevin. He works with Kevin at Perry's Pizza. In this episode, he meets his older brother. Is it Trigger? I don't know that man's name, but I think they be saying Trigger. But yeah, he meets his older brother Trigger. And I guess this is a great way to segue into Trigger. So, and if that man's name is not Trigger, sorry to that man. Sorry. But yeah, so in this episode, we do see Trigger go into a gay bar. Well, we don't actually see him go into the gay bar, but when we get into the scene, we are at the gay bar with Trigger. And it's just Lena Waithe is bringing the LGBTQ awareness, you know, and I even heard in the dialogue, the girlfriend of Jake's older brother says, "What's your pronoun?" And the guy says he or him or something to that effect. But yeah, it's just a little bit of education for LGBTQ community that is addressed in this episode, with Luke James playing that character. But the thing is, now I'm like, is Luke James a part of the LGBTQ community? Like, that's the only question I had after leaving this episode. I mean, I'm just curious. I just want to know. But yeah, we see that. We also see that Trigger wants to, you know, basically get Jake and get out. So I think that is going to be something like to me, it just seems like there's going to be struggle with doing just that, because basically he said he don't want to like settle here. He wants to come here, get Jake, go back. He does not want to stay there. So I'm just wondering, and he's like, Jake is the only family I have left. Jake has already thought he's been dead for all this time. So I'm like, is Trigger gonna make it to the end of the season? Or like, to me, it seems like something is going to happen with that storyline, and not necessarily favorable. So we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of Trigger, Jake, and all of that custody stuff, Otis Perry is so mean. But Jake really wants to stay with him. So Otis kind of like dangles this good life in front of Jake, and he's like, if you do this, I'm gonna send you with your brother, because you know your brother wants you anyway. But Jake likes this lifestyle, but at what cost? He is just there being, you know, tortured a little bit. And Otis doesn't, in my opinion, Otis does not have Jake because he actually wants Jake. It's with ulterior motives. So I'm gonna love to see the struggle between Otis Perry and Jake's older brother, to see what is going to become of Jake's fate. Like, who is he gonna ultimately end up with? There was a lot of, you know, little busyness going on with Emmett's mom, Jada. So that was another source of, like I said, our comedic relief. So Emmett is there to make us laugh a little bit about the situation that goes on with his mama. But at least this time we ain't had to see Wee Wee just pop out. So I was very appreciative of that. And last but not least, my favorite character to hate, Ronnie. I told y'all that Ronnie was gonna get in trouble for seeing Keisha. Like, I don't know if Ronnie had anything to do with what happened with Keisha, but he knew a lot. He knew where to find that phone. He knew that she was sitting at the bus stop, and he knew that the phone got taken from the bus stop. So obviously the phone didn't make it to wherever Keisha went. So yeah, Dre says she will kill Ronnie herself if she finds out that he had something to do with Keisha's disappearance. So Ronnie better start trying to pick up the pieces. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, and that brings me to close the story again with Kevin. So because Kevin is really trying to find Keisha, because ultimately we find out Keisha ain't really gone somewhere she really wanted to go. She has been taken against her will. Kevin, throughout this whole entire episode, has been doing his due diligence in looking for Keisha. And basically, he is at the boyfriend's house, who is known to be a part of the 63rd Street mob. And Kevin is like, I ain't leaving here without my sister, bruh, bruh. So, what it is, Kevin said he not scared. Like, he done shot Ronnie. He hasn't caught a body, but he done shot Ronnie. So, we're going to have to wait. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of action or character development, but we do see the storyline develop a little more. Wasn't completely boring. Wasn't completely action-packed. It was just meh TV for an hour. I could have not stayed up last night and watched it today like I did 2 more times. So, yeah. Comment down below. Where do y'all think Keisha is? Who do y'all think took Keisha? In my opinion, I think Keisha's little boyfriend got her sex trafficking. Why? I don't know, but that's just what I think. So, comment down below, thumbs up, like, and subscribe to my channel. And if you're Black, just know I'm rooting for you. All right then, bye.